If your e-commerce site takes longer than 2 seconds to load, you're literally watching money walk out the door. For every extra second of load time, you lose 7 to 10% of your conversions. That means a site that takes 5 seconds to load is losing you more than 30% of your revenue. I audited over 50 e-commerce brands this year, and more than 80% of them had page speed issues that were costing them thousands in sales every single day. The crazy part, most of those issues can be fixed in 30 minutes. Today, I'm walking you through our 5-step speed optimization checklist that we use to slash load times and boost conversions for our clients. We've used these fixes to help brands increase their conversion rates by 20 to 40% just by making their page speed faster. In the next 5 minutes, you'll get the complete checklist and know exactly what to implement first to get the biggest impact. Let's start with the number one speed killer that is on 80% of the e-commerce sites. Before we go into the number one page speed killer, let's start with why page speed even matters. So first of all, the bounce rate just spikes. When load times exceed 2 seconds, the bounce rate skyrockets. Like literally, we see it day in and day out. The longer your page takes to load, the higher your bounce rates. Then there's a huge SEO impact. Like Google prioritizes pages that have faster page speed, and slow pages hurt your rankings. And you definitely see a conversion boost. Like obviously with a lower bounce rate and also with just a better customer experience, user experience, even a 1 second improvement in speed can lift conversions up by 7 to 10%. We even had one client, they had a completely terrible page speed when we started working together. And after partnering up, and fixing all the issues, getting their GT metrics ranking from a grade E, which is like one of the worst rankings that you can have, to a grade A, and have everything as optimized as possible, their conversion rate doubled overnight. Like literally, it doubled from one day to the next just by improving the page speed. It had crazy impact. It had a crazy impact on the brand, on the revenue, because it basically just doubled sales overnight. So remember, you have roughly 1.7 seconds to capture attention, and you have to make every millisecond count. So let's get into the first crucial mistake that leads to a lot of pages have a very low page speed. And those are the images. The number one thing, like if you only do one thing, you have to compress and optimize your images. We see so many websites, so many brands that just have the wrong image formats, the wrong image sizes, and it just has a massive impact on the page speed and just slows down everything. So you basically have to identify what are the large files. Like if you do page speed analysis using GT metrics or Google's page speed insights, you will see what the biggest files are. But you can also just go to your Shopify settings and files and then look whether there are any images, any files that exceed 200 kilobytes. And if you're not familiar with like optimizing page speed, you might think that like having an image that is like 500 kilobytes or even 1 megabyte isn't too bad, but it just kills your page speed. So basically look at every file, every image that exceeds 200 kilobytes and then compress it with a tool like TinyPNG, completely free tool. You can even bulk compress like a bunch of images, like product images, banner images, everything. At the same time, make sure that you use responsive images, responsive sizes. So basically ensure that you're using like the resizing option that Shopify allows you to have so that the images are in the right size. And also make sure to enable lazy loading. So for everything that is below the fold, so when a person comes onto your website, the stuff that they don't see right away, that is like below where they have to scroll, for those kind of images, you have to enable lazy loading. That ensures that the site doesn't load them right away, but like that the site focuses on the stuff that is at the top, that is above the fold, the most important things first, and then loads the rest of the page later on. Some Shopify themes have that like natively built in, but if not, you need to find an app or developer that is able to implement it for you. Like just doing that can reduce page weight by 20 to 50%, and with that have a massive impact on your page speed. The second thing, eliminate unnecessary apps and scripts. So basically look at all the apps that you have in Shopify and in the page speed report and see which apps do take a lot of time which ones have large scripts and which ones slow down the page. We sometimes get added to a Shopify brand of a website, and we see that they have 30 different apps, 40 different apps running on the page, and they're usually not even using most of them. And it just massively slows down the page. You should have as little apps as humanly possible to make sure that the page speed is as fast as possible. Deactivate any or remove any pop-ups, spin to wins, or social feed apps that you don't use. They're oftentimes big slowdowns. So obviously for your email marketing, you need to have a pop-up, but it has to be optimized, and it shouldn't appear right away. It shouldn't impact your page speed. If you need something, try to replace it with lightweight tools, have a pop-up or reviews that are speed optimized and that allow you to run without massively slowing down the page. You can also use a script manager or native theme code to ensure that the app scripts only load on relevant pages, so that you don't unnecessarily slow down every single page or the home page if the apps are not even used on that specific page. One or two heavy apps can shave off an entire seconds from your load time if you just remove them or replace them. So first of all, remove what you don't need, and then what you need, try to optimize it, find alternatives, or just improve the page speed of those. At the same time, defer or remove extra pixels. So for the tracking, for the paid ads and everything else that you do for analyzing how the people behave on your site, you obviously need tracking, you need pixels, but you have to make sure that you only have the pixels that you're actively using, that are actively necessary. Also, for example, the Google Tag Manager usually massively slows down the page. So if you can, don't use the Google Tag Manager, rather try to use Shopify's native integrations of the Facebook tracking, the Google tracking, because those are just way better for the page speed. If you have unused pixels, obviously just remove them. A lot of brands have a Pinterest tracking, TikTok tracking, even though they don't run any ads of those platforms. Maybe they did at some point, but they don't anymore. For lesser used but still needed pixels, have a developer that just defers the loading so that the main page content loads first, and then later on those pixels get added to it. Obviously, don't remove anything that you need, like Facebook tracking if you run Facebook ads, Google ads tracking if you run Google ads. They're critical. You need to have them, but still check whether you can optimize them or make sure that they don't load right away if you don't need them. The goal is that the main content just appears as quickly as possible while the tracking scripts still run in the background without slowing down the page. Then the fourth thing is a more technical stuff. So if you don't know it, give that to your developer, give that to someone, or find someone on Fiverr or Upwork who can implement that for you if you don't know what it is. But you basically have to identify external resources, like looking at GTmetrix or other page speed tools. And then you'll see that there are Google Fonts, Analytics, and things like that that just take up a lot of time to load. And then you can add those prefetch tags and preconnect tags to make sure that it's just speed up and it's quicker. And you basically just add that to the hero section, to the theme liquid, to the head section of the code. And this is basically what it looks like. And that just leads to faster domain lookups, which can also add a couple of 100 to 300 milliseconds of your load time. So obviously, compared to the other things, it will not have that huge effect, that huge impact. But if you have a lot of traffic and if everything else is already optimized, this can help just squeeze everything out of it and make sure that everything is as optimized as humanly possible and you don't lose any traffic to a slow page load. So the fifth and last step is basically testing it. Have a baseline where you are before. So run a GTmetrix report and a Google page speed report before you make any changes. Obviously, make sure to save your scores, make screenshots of it, save the reports, then start implementing the changes one by one, and after every test, retest it, and really really track and see how much of an impact it has, whether how big the positive impact is, whether it has a real impact. And that way you can really track the improvements and see whether you're optimizing the page speed or just wasting time. And then you should be you should have ongoing monitoring of it. So with all of our clients, in our reporting dashboard, we have automatic tests on a weekly basis of the homepage, the main collection page, and the main product pages. And on a weekly basis, every single week on a Monday, we automatically run page speed reports from all the main pages, the ones that have the highest traffic and the highest impact on the customer experience, on the customer journey. And then we can consistently see whether there's suddenly a drop in page speed, whether there's a drop in performance. And then we can actively see what changed, what changes did we make, what change did the brand make, what kind of apps did they install, and basically make sure that it's always optimized. Also, if we suddenly see an increase in bounce rate or a decrease in conversion rate, we can just immediately go to our reporting dashboard and see whether there was a change in load time, in page performance. And based on that, we can make way better decisions and way better optimizations. And yeah, it's basically all in there. So a quick checklist for you to make sure that you do the most important things. Basically compress all the images with tiny PNG or a similar tool, remove or replace non-essential apps, deactivate unused pixels or marketing tags, add the DNS Prefetch Preconnect tags for external domains, and then make sure to test with GTmetrix or Google PageSpeed to confirm improvements. The goal should be that the page load time is under 2 seconds on both mobile and desktop. And with that, you'll ensure that you will have the lowest bounce rate possible and the highest conversion rate and performance possible. Because even though it has nothing to do with paid ads, after the page speed improves, you always see a massive bump, massive increase in conversion rate, in performance of the paid ads, and your return ads. Just doing that, your return ad spend could go up 20 to 30%. Your customer acquisition cost can go down, and you will have significantly better results. So by applying those quick wins, you'll see immediate improvement in page load times. It shouldn't take a week or a month or something. It will happen right away. As I mentioned, we had one client where from one day to the next, their conversion rate doubled. I wouldn't expect that for you. It's not the benchmark. It was it was the biggest effect that we ever saw. Usually it's an increase of 20 to 30%, but it all goes down to the bottom line and to the sales, to the conversions, and you will see higher conversion rates. You'll also have way fewer frustration on the customers, fewer bounces. They will enjoy shopping on your site more. Google will prefer your site. The SEO will be better. And yeah, just a quick bonus tip, don't forget to keep an eye on new apps, new scripts that you add. Sometimes a single pop-up, a single change, a single app, a single analytics tool can just undo all the speed gains that you've just made. But following this checklist, following the framework, you'll ensure that you'll have the best possible results, best possible page speed. I hope that was valuable. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you'll crush it. Bye.